The time is now 7 o'clock.
Hiring and recruitment for the second half of the year, it is underway. And the availability of jobs, it is one thing, but even highly qualified candidates, they aren't applying for jobs. This group of economically inactive population reached an all-time high, even exceeding the COVID years. So why aren't so many people going out there to get jobs? And what does this say about the state of the country's economy? Big question. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, July 23rd on befm 부산영어방송. Good morning, wavers out there. I hope you are all surviving the summer, whether you are surviving the heat wave here in Busan or downpours in other parts of the country. I hope you're all doing well. And I know we have many, many listeners all around the world. So welcome to our program this morning. The conventional timeline of one's life goes something like this. You go to high school, and not all, but, most people go on to college or university. Like I said, not all. And then we all eventually enter the workforce, don't we, as adults? And university seniors, if you do go to college, you actively seek a job. This is more or less, the course of one's life, especially with young people, with college-educated people. According to Statistics Korea, there were over 4 million people in the first half of the year who were not working or not looking for jobs. So this is 72,000 more than the same time last year. And the highest figure in the economically inactive population since record-taking began. And the reason for this, for them not looking for employment, varies. So it could be due to things like family obligations, aging, or that they are not able to do so for some particular reason. But recently, the ratio of those with college degrees who are not looking for jobs has spiked, has gone up, accounting for 25% of the total number. So this is actually worse than during the pandemic years, when the economically inactive figure exceeded 4 million for the first time. This is what's happening. This is the state of the South Korean workforce, and we're going to delve into what this may signal about the country's economy, and that is our main theme for today. That's where we're covering, and I hope you'll join in on the discussion on that. In the meantime, here is our text topic. So later on, we're going to be talking about birthday parties. That's later on in the program. So we're going to talk about, for our text topic, memorable birthday parties or maybe birthday gift from the past. Alright. So 여러분은 기억에 남아있는 생일 파티나 생일 선물, 어릴 때 생일 파티 어떻게 했는지 기억에 나시나요? How did you celebrate your birthdays? Think back in the day. 성인이 된 후 기억에 남는 생일 파티. 생일 선물 이야기해 보겠습니다. Really short. The most memorable birthday for me, still I remember. It's vivid in my mind. I can just close my eyes, still think about it. My 16th birthday, that was the best birthday party. I still remember what I wore, who exactly was at my birthday party. It was a very intimate birthday party of just my friends. It was 5 of my best friends, and then including me, it was 6 of us. We went to my favorite restaurant. My parents, set it out for me. But I still remember what I wore and exactly what we were doing and what we ate, and it was just a great time. So, it was just one of those great memorable times. That's what I'm talking about. You can send in your memorable thoughts, stories, anything related to birthday parties from the past when you were younger as an adult. Send them into BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to that platform, type in befm or, yes, 부산영어방송. You do have to subscribe, log in. You can chat away with our other waivers. Also, pound 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can reach me for free through our Kakao Talk channel as well. You can listen to Morning Wave in Busan through 90.5, 103.3 FM, depending on where you are in the Busan area. Like I said, through our YouTube live channel in real time, but you can use a platform to watch again at your leisure. Also, go to the Patbang app. By the way, if you're on our YouTube, don't forget to, you click on the like button. Looking ahead to our morning together, we have our lineup today. We have Jimmy, Choi, or Joy, coming in for sports. We have Adrian with the health today. For our special interview today, we are going to take a look into photojournalism. And, today we're going to be talking to Mr. Kang Hyung-won, two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist and columnist. So, I don't know if you are familiar with his work, but he was a member of the team that won the Pulitzer Prize for the coverage of the LA riots in 1993 and also in 1999 for the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal coverage. So that's coming up in hour number 2. So stay tuned for that. I'll be back with today's headlines. It is now 7:06, and these are today's headlines. Prosecutor resigns over First Lady's luxury bag questioning. A prosecutor in charge of questioning or investigating the Dior bag allegations involving the First Lady has resigned over in protest to the Supreme Prosecution probing the questioning of Kim Gun-hee. Kakao founder arrested over alleged stock manipulation. Seoul Southern District Court issued an arrest warrant for Kakao CEO Kim Bum-soo, who faces charges of stock price manipulation related to the firm's takeover of SM Entertainment last year. Parliamentary committee passes pro-labor yellow envelope bill. A parliamentary committee unilaterally passed a pro-labor bill that seeks to limit companies from making claims for damages from legitimate labor union disputes. High school teacher referred to prosecution for selling CSAT questions. Police have referred a high school teacher to the prosecution for making college entrance exam questions and selling them to a private academy for some 250 million won. Mourners pour in at iconic singer-composer Kim Min-gi's funeral. Artist Kim Min-gi operated the landmark Hakjeon Theater, fostering countless talented artists. He died Sunday after battling stomach cancer at the age of 73. These are today's headlines. It's time to check in with Haley for Busan Updates. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so let's jump into our text topic first. So any memorable birthday parties when you were a kid, as an adult?
I was 8.
8. Let's go back in time.
I was 8. Not too long, just several decades.
What happened?
I had a birthday party with friends. It was fun times. Like a lot of home cooking, delivery. Because back then, you get pizza and chicken delivered, and that's a fancy day. And my aunt, she said she'll bring an ice cream cake for me. So excited because this was decades ago. That particular 31 flavors store had just recent. It was kind of a new thing.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, the flavor, mint chocolate chip.
What's wrong with that? I love it.
Oh my God! I can't even look at you.
Why?
You and my aunt. Who brings a mint chocolate chip ice cream cake to an 8-year-old's birthday party? And I felt like I was being punished. I'm like, I'm brushing my teeth right now. I am eating my birthday cake, and I sometimes hate brushing my teeth. So I was like, you're punishing me on this day of all days.
Oh, because you're not a...
Well, this was my first time ever having mint chocolate chip cake. And I was like, what?
You're like, what is this?
Still baffled. I was 8. It's been 21 years. And I'm like, I'm still baffled. Who brings what? Anyways.
So you still remember. Do you remember the reaction of your friends?
I don't. I was so
into your
selfish.
reaction.
I was so like, why is this happening to me? What other people?
So it was very memorable.
It was very memorable.
Did you forgive your aunt?
I mean, I'm waiting until like her 70th birthday where I'm gonna turn up with a mint chocolate chip cake.
Revenge.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's a feud. It's a very one-sided feud.
All right. Well, we're going to dive into our first update, and it is regarding the Gadeok Airport. The plan is to have the airport open and operating by the end of 2029. That's the plan. But there are concerns that it will only be half functional by then.
Right. So how open and what parts will be operating by 2029 versus now apparently 2031 might be the timeline. So the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, they've been trying to find a contractor who will be charged with laying down the foundation of the property on Gadeok Island for the airport. So there have been 2 public calls so far. Both fell through, so not enough companies applied.
Right.
So that's apparently due to the short time given the challenges of laying down the landscape on that island. So the Land Ministry extended the deadline for the construction from 6 to 7 years after the ground breaks.
Sure.
And instead, it'll focus on essential parts to have the airport open and operating by the end of 2029, but finishing up the rest of it, so essentially the western parts of the airport, by the end of 2031. So that is 1 year later than the original completion date.
Right. But what is supposed to go in the delayed parts of the new airport?
Right. So coming to the parts that will be open and operating by 2029, the landing strip, the airport, what we would consider the functional parts. But then there are other aspects like the parking lot.
Isn't that important?
That's very important, especially because it'll be on Gadeokdo and a literal island. People do need to drive there. Other facilities to have the airport function not only for passengers, but also as a logistics hub. And that was a major thing about building an airport on Gadeokdo in the first place, to boost that part of the city. So there will be also where the railway and the new roads connecting Gadeokdo to the rest of Busan will be located as well. So there's an issue of access too. So the city said the ministry confirmed that it'll finish the essential aspect by the end of 2029 and also ease the rules for consortiums to apply. So hopefully we'll get a bidder soon and get the ball rolling.
Interesting though. So the airport itself will be done, but not the parking
but
lot.
Not much else. Yeah.
Okay. Well, up next, the highly anticipated the A르떼뮤지엄 opened its doors over the weekend and lines out the door. But as expected, there were issues with traffic and parking.
I thought about going this past weekend, and then I saw the lines, and I was like,
no,
I don't think so.
Or
No. I mean, I'm not even going to get in.
Yes.
So not only just with people, but with cars getting into the property to begin with, they're just lined up. So the left turn lane that goes into the property, that was filled with cars much beyond the lane. But then it's Yeongdo. The roads aren't that huge to begin with. And there were police officers dispatched to guide the traffic.
Sure.
But I mean, there are physical issues of space that not much can be done about it. So
is that what we're talking about?
That is what we're talking about.
On our YouTube channel.
That is the left turn lane that's just basically turned into a parking lot.
Yes.
So this basically backed up the roads all the way to the entrance of the island, essentially. So the A르떼뮤지엄 in Busan, it is the biggest of its kind in the world. So the museum is expecting about 1 million visitors each year, but then they still have to deal with the traffic issues. So there are already had been concerns about traffic from the get-go. We addressed that on the show. And then that unfortunately came to reality this weekend. So for one, the district is working on construction to add another or lengthen that left turn lane to at least avoid that issue with the problem. And the city is also looking to add more buses to the bus line 17, which will take you to the museum.
Yes.
Which apparently it is the weekend, so it runs every 20 minutes.
Oh,
Right, so that
okay.
is actually quite a long time if
Sure.
you're waiting out in the heat wave. In the meantime, the museum is urging people to please use the Busan Cruise Terminal parking lot, and it's going to run shuttles to and from the parking lot.
I see. So if you're going to go, expect, just have a lot of patience. Right?
Bring a portable charger for your phone and water.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's move on. Busan City is helping the 4 local universities that we're going to mention ahead of their final Global University Assessment.
Right. So this Global University, it's a major project run by the Education Ministry that is seeking to foster and also inject massive funding into local schools in non-capital areas for their innovation and regional growth. So for round 2, we are looking at Dongha and Dongseok universities as kind of a group, and Dongmyeong and Silla universities. They're in the running for round 2 of the funding.
Right.
So they actually held a briefing at City Hall yesterday, and that was attended by Mayor Park Hyung-jun to go over the final talking points in the presentations as well as strategy ahead of the final assessment.
Right.
So Dongha and Dongseok universities, their unified applications, they're looking to specify 4 specialties across bio and health, cultural contents, energy technologies, and Busan heritage. And as for Dongmyeong and Silla, they're going to merge some of their majors to really cater to their strengths and form this digi-tech innovation town. And Busan City, for its part, will provide support for them to ultimately win the global designation and, of course, the funding that comes with it, and also create model cases of joint regional academic cooperation.
Ah, yes. So it's all about merging and surviving.
Right, and
point.
bringing young people in, creating
Yes.
jobs and whatnot.
All right, lastly, this is a major issue in our local area, the Milak Waterfront Park. Highly popular.
Was.
Yeah, that's the whole
Yeah.
point of the story. Now it's taking steps to kind of revamp itself after the whole alcohol-free designation. Because, let's face it, it's not that popular anymore. It's trying to, re-attract
It's
visitors.
trying to change things up. So
Yes.
previously, Minlak-Su변공원, the Minlak Waterfront Park, it was a hot spot for weekend night young people to
Right.
come, drink, hang out, kind of a meet and it was like a mingle spot.
yeah.
But then we would get massive amounts of trash, noise issues. So the entire waterfront park is now alcohol free. And since then, unfortunately, traffic has kind of died down. It has affected local businesses as well. So, and then by contrary, on the contrary, you go 500 meters to Gwangan Beach. That is massively crowded with the drone shows, especially Saturday nights, and just it being Gwangan Beach.
Yes.
So Suyeong District is actually looking to turn Minlak Waterfront Park into a light show hotspot as well. That is the plans for what it could be, hoping to bring more visitors to the park. So the district has posted a call for a contractor to run what it's planning as the Milak Luce Festival for the winter. So they're going to put in a 80 million won budget to flood the park with lights between November and February, along with participatory programs and linking that to the drone show. So definitely something for us to look forward to.
Yes. I mean, if that isn't any indication of what it might look like, it is beautiful.
It's beautiful, right?
Yes. Well, thank you for the updates, Haley. We'll check
Thank
in with you
you.
in just a little bit. Now, back to you, the listeners. Real quick, we're talking about birthday parties, whether it was, when you were younger, as a little kid, or as an adult. Any great birthday party memories, stories? Yes, send them in. Here's your traffic and weather for now. It is now 7:19. Here is your traffic report. It's looking slow from the Manduk intersection to Deokcheon ramp on the Namhae Expressway right now. There is congestion building on 동서 overpass from 범내골 ramp to the old Gaegeum toll gate. Also looking quite slow on Luno Samsungdaero from Myeongji underpass to Shino Bridge 2. Currently 28 degrees under partially cloudy skies. It's going to be another hot one today with daytime highs expected to go up to 32 degrees. And Busan is still under a special heat wave advisory. There is heavy rain coming down in parts of the capital area, Gangwon and Chungcheong. But once the rain stops, those areas will be under a heat wave as well. And make sure you put on some sunscreen and stay hydrated today. This was your traffic and weather report.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
All right, we're going to jump into our first news story. This is News Digest. We have Haley here in the studio with us. Our first story is regarding a story that we've been covering, the luxury bag scandal. And so yesterday we did report that the prosecutors, they questioned the First Lady at an undisclosed location. We didn't know where exactly this was. And this has become quite the controversy, though.
Right. Not only because it was not disclosed, but it was not conventional. It was not at the prosecutor's office,
Right.
which is how things are done. We've seen former presidents, celebrities, and many prominent people go into the prosecutor's
Sure.
office. Sometimes it is more private. They don't have to stand at the photo line, the
Right.
perp walk, but
yeah.
it's usually at the office.
Right.
Well, controversy sparked after the prosecution said, on Saturday, that they went to an undisclosed government office to question the First Lady. Apparently, the session lasted for about 12 hours. So they stated that it was just a secure government building in their jurisdiction. So that was within Jongno district. So they cited security and safety reasons for this particular location choice. So that is where the controversy begins. The opposition parties, they call this privileged treatment, with senior Democratic Party lawmaker Jung Cheong-rae questioning whether, quote, Kim Gun-hee is she the first lady or the first president, and asked since when does prosecution provide traveling and catering services. On the contrary, the People Power Party said that this was inevitable and reasonable. And it also pointed out that other prominent figures, high-profile figures in the opposition, including Cho Guk, they were able to go in for undisclosed private questioning, but we should point out this was still at the prosecutor's office. So there was also issue with the fact that the Prosecutor General, Lee Won-seok, did not approve, or it was reported of this third location questioning, but the head of the Seoul Central Prosecution, Lee Chang-soo, kind of did so anyway. So the People Power Party said that apparently this issue with reporting and the authority, it stemmed from the former Moon Jae-in administration abolishing the Prosecutor General's rights of investigation.
Well, this controversy has prompted the Prosecutor General to issue a public apology.
Right. So this was kind of a very vocal statement from the Prosecutor General. Lee Won-seok yesterday told reporters that the questioning, it did violate the basic principles of investigation. So Lee Won-seok told reporters that he has previously said that there are and should be no exceptions, preferential treatment, or sanctuary under the law. However, the principles were not observed in the questioning of the First Lady. So he apologized for him not being able to, or at least the prosecution not being able to keep that promise. So he stated that during the remaining legal procedures for Kim Gun-hee, no efforts will be spared to uphold the constitutional principle because everyone is equal under the law. And then there were also speculations that he might resign. He actually stated that if his best efforts to uphold the constitutional principles will not be enough, then he will make a decision on his position. So basically, he may resign if the conflict continues. And by the way, he has about 2 months left in his 2-year term as the prosecutor general.
Right. So he is staying put. However, a prosecutor has resigned.
Right. And that prosecutor is Kim Kyung-mok, who heads this particular investigation. So he apparently handed in his resignation. Seems to have been an emotional decision after he heard about the Supreme Prosecutor's Office launching a probe into that particular questioning decision. So he reportedly told those at the prosecution that he faithfully investigated the case, but he was angered and felt incredulous at having been made a subject of a probe for just doing his job.
I see.
So there is internal conflict within the prosecution, it seems.
Yes, it does. All right, so that is the first story. Up next, a record number of high school students are dropping out, and apparently it's not, maybe the reason why we would think.
Right. So you hear someone's dropping out of high school, and you have, this is me being prejudiced and biased, but there's like an image of someone who is out of the system.
A high school dropout, right?
A high school dropout is a phrase that we do commonly use.
Yes.
But we are seeing a 5-year record as to students who drop out of high school, and it's not the picture of a high school dropout you would imagine. But first, the number. So how significant is it? Last year, collectively, 25,000 students dropped out of high school across the country. That's been compiled by 종로학원. And by the way, 25,000 accounts for 2% of all students. So that's not insignificant.
Yes.
And we have seen this figure go up consistently ever since the end of the pandemic. Notably, the number of students dropping out of elite schools. We're talking about foreign language schools, international schools, and these elite schools saw a 15% increase in the number of their high school dropouts. And there was also a heavy concentration of such students in the capital area, especially highest dropout rates from Gangnam, 송파, 노원, and 서초 districts, and they are very zealous about their education.
I know why, but tell our listeners why.
You know why, because you're in
I know
high school.
why, yes.
You have a kid in high school. So they're going to medical school, and they're going to basically bypass the whole high school process.
Yes.
And they're going to focus on the CSATs. So they've basically decided early on that they will likely not get a good enough score in their elite schools with very high competition to get into medical schools via 수시, early admission.
Exactly.
So because that's out of the question. But then for some students who are then going to focus on 정시, the CSATs, they see the school curriculum as some people's opinion, a waste of time in the time that they could be focusing on actual studying for the CSATs. So instead, these students are dropping out, taking the GED to graduate high school and focusing on CSAT studies. And I mean, just on a personal note, it does speak volumes about the state and status of public education. And for some, unfortunately, school is only seen as a way to get into medical school. But it's not, there are social aspects involved to it, social skills and the merits of learning things that are beyond just math, science, English, Korean language.
And just getting a score on a test. Right. Yeah. But there are, students that I know personally.
Right. Oh, right.
They take their GED in 6th grade. No, I kid you not. They took it this past year.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then also, like, having your career path set at the age of 12.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like, is it what you want or what your parents want? Yes. All right. For our final story, Joe Biden dropping out of the U.S. presidential 2024 race is still one of the biggest stories in the world. And we're getting the details of how it went down, how dramatic, I guess, the moment was, right?
Very dramatic, very short notice. Because, when we were ending our work week last week on Friday, we had the interview lined up for Monday. But then the whole question was about Trump. And then we woke up 4:30, 5 a.m. yesterday morning. Oh, he dropped out? Really?
Really?
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So things are happening. So he was physically quarantined in his Delaware beach house.
Yes.
But even his aides, even his top aides, and I'm talking chief of staff, found out about this literally a minute before that statement went online.
Yes.
So according to sources that spoke freely on the condition of anonymity, it was apparently business as usual until Saturday, and they were scheduling some campaign activities for when he does return.
Yes.
Things turned around Sunday morning. So apparently on Saturday evening, Biden began to consider whether he should withdraw, and he just brought in a handful of staffers. And this is really interesting. His chief strategist, deputy chief of staff, and the chief of staff to the first lady, which shows how involved Jill Biden and her office are in this in Joe Biden's political career as well.
Right.
So they poured over apparently new data that showed he might not compete well in some key swing areas, as well as these public calls from high-profile Democrats for him to resign. So Biden made the final decision that he was going to drop out on Sunday morning. So at that point, he called his chief of staff, his campaign chairs, and Vice President Kamala Harris, whom he eventually would endorse. And then he had a video call with his top White House senior staff Sunday afternoon. A minute after that video call ended, he clicked post. Literally
so
a minute.
It was like ready to go.
Because it was timestamped. So he wasn't, so when the decision was made, he wasn't hearing any other opinion from anyone
done.
else. Right. Can you imagine though being the White House staff?
Like,
Right.
literally learning about it
You
a
don't
minute
have
later.
time to digest. It's up.
Yes, yes. Well, so once again, Joe Biden did endorse Kamala Harris, but as she said it herself, she really wants to earn and win the delegates, right? But where does she stand in terms of major endorsements?
Well, not just wants to, she has to.
Right.
Because it's not given to her.
It's open game.
It is open game. So most significant endorsement thus far has come from Nancy Pelosi, the former Speaker of the House, and really a major figure in the Democratic Party.
Right.
The other leaders, so we're talking about Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. They've not yet endorsed her officially, but they have praised her work so far. Also, very notably, former President Barack Obama hasn't endorsed her either. And yes, there is still chatter about, is Michelle going to enter the race, or people want her to? Will she not?
I've heard they prefer an open process.
Right.
Is the word.
Right, instead of just naming someone
Yes,
like
exactly.
an heir apparent. So, but other former presidents and former presidential candidates, Bill and Hillary Clinton, California Governor Gavin Newsom, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, they have all endorsed her. And now the money. And in terms of people who have endorsed her, the voters, Harris' campaign said that it raised $81 million in the first 24 hours of Biden stepping down and Harris being in the running.
Okay.
And that is the largest amount ever raised in a span of 24 hours for any U.S. presidential election.
Okay.
Also notably, this was mostly with grassroots supporters giving $200 or less.
Okay.
But in terms of, yes, that open competition, so this will officially be decided, although it is interesting, the official DNC, the Democratic National Convention, scheduled for August 19th in Chicago.
Sure.
But the Democratic Party is trying to get a virtual roll call going with the delegates and have an official candidate virtually designated by the beginning of August.
I see.
So they were going to do that with Biden for sure, but now with kind of an open game, we'll have to see. So the magic number here is 1,976 delegates to vote for her. So, by the way, just for very brief trivia, Harris did have presidential powers for 85 minutes back in 2021. That was when President Joe Biden did go. He was under anesthesia for, I believe, a routine colonoscopy.
Right.
so.
And I telling though, Pete Buttigieg and they say our expert Gavin said Gavin Newsom might not be in the running, but some of the people that did endorse her, they are in the running though. They might be her possible VP picks.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So, yeah.
Crystal ball. I wish I had one. We will check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you,
See you in a
Haley.
bit.
All right, let's get to our first song. Here it is. And this is Energy. And this is by Mighty Mouth.
넌 항상에 타게 불러 네 속아 날 숨쉬게 해 넌 나의 에너지 너는 나의 에너지 점점 더 두근대는 오늘도 가만히 너의 사진을 봐 전화기를 열면 내 눈앞에 늘 환한 미소가 지친 내 삶의 비타민 넌 나만의 엔돌핀 무엇보다 값진 내 삶의 전부가 너 어딜 가도 항상 네가 떠올라 그대 이름 석자 생각하는 것 하나만으로도 가슴이 벅차 언제나 난 네 편 너만의 안식처 힘들고 지칠 땐 저리 237 자 출동 I want you 너의 미소가 내 꿈과 희망 내 삶의 에너지 너밖에 없어 난 너 하나뿐이야 One, two, three, let's go 월화수목금토일 날 널 항상 애타게 불러 네 미소가 날 숨쉬게 해 넌 나의 에너지 너는 나의 에너지 점점 더 두근대는 내 가슴을 널 항상 애타게 불러 널 원하는 이 노래가 들리니 my energy 나는 너의 에너지
오늘도 힘들었나요?
세상살이 쉽진 않아
조금 더 힘을 내봐요 이제
I got the superpower 상상이 현실이 되는 마법의 주문 NURGY 꿈은 이루어져 You don't stop 이제 시작이야 우리 모두가 주인공 모두 같이 Here we go 지금 이 순간 흐르는 노래가 네 꿈이 현실이 되는 secret I want you 너의 미소가 내 꿈과 희망 내 삶의 에너지 너밖에 없어 난 너 하나뿐이야 One, two, three, let's go Baby 월화수목금토일 날 널 항상 애타게 불러 네 미소가 날 숨쉬게 해 넌 나의 에너지 너는 나의 에너지 점점 더 두근대는 내 가슴을 널 항상 애타게 불러 널 원하는 이 노래가 들리니 my energy 나는 너의 에너지 Mighty Mama 항상 내 가슴 속에 너 하나면 충분해 넌 언제나 완벽해 We can make it better, better 난 너만 있으면 돼 누구보다 사랑해 영원토록 감사해 We can make it better
You're my energy You're my energy
Welcome back, everybody. So today we are talking about how a quarter of the unemployed and the so-called not looking for work population are college graduates. And this particular economically inactive population is growing in large numbers around people in their late 20s, who, by the way, should be in theory, actively searching for kind of their first post-college job or, something along those lines, right? But a notable pattern is that they seem to be kind of in between jobs, having worked in the past year, but not really looking for their next job. So they usually worked in retail or maintenance jobs before they left the workforce. What does that mean? What does that picture tell us? That they didn't stay in the job market. Well, experts say that this points to a lack of quality jobs that college graduates would want to apply for. And this may be a fundamental problem that the young people are facing in the current economy. That yes, they fundamentally do want to work, but there aren't enough quality jobs that they want to apply for. That may be the conundrum. And that's why we're seeing these figures of economically inactive young people. All right, so once again, later on, we're going to be talking about birthday parties. That's coming up in the program. Our text topic for you, do you have a birthday party, whether it was from way back when you were a little kid, or maybe as an adult, whenever, that was particularly interesting, funny, memorable, even maybe sad. Something that really stands out in your mind. 여러분의 기억에 남아있는 생일 파티. 그게 뭐 좋아서 그럴 수도 있고 뭐 하여튼 기억에 남는 이유가 뭘까요? 자, 어릴 때 생일 파티 어떻게 했는지도 정말 궁금해요. 그래서 예를 들자면 뭐 그 유치원 때 같이 이렇게 생일 파티 했다고 전 들었는데 and then like with the paper crowns 약간 왕관 이렇게 쓰고 그렇게 같이 모여서 그 사진도 찍고 그러지 않았나요? 아, 제 사촌들 보니까 그렇게 많이 했던데 사진 보니까 같이 이게 그 달에 생일 이렇게 파티 같이 하고 So how did you celebrate your birthdays? 아, 기억에 남는 네, 생일 그렇게 이야기를 듣고 있습니다. Leslie says my most memorable birthday was my 18th birthday. At the time, I was living in Bucharest, Romania, working in an orphanage with an Irish organization, and the Irish volunteers surprised me with a house party. Oh, so nice. There was so much singing and dancing and drinking that it took the entire weekend to recover. But worth the hangover, definitely. You were in Romania working at an orphanage. Wow. So I'm wondering if you like took a gap year and so many questions, Leslie, but what an interesting, memorable birthday. And the fact that they threw you this surprise birthday party, I think that speaks volumes to your character. So thanks for sharing that story with us. All right, we got to get to our hot clip, and here it is. For today's hot clip, real simple. It is hot right now, so here are some items that you should not leave in your car.
So here's a list of things that you should never leave in your car on a hot summer day.
Number 1, plastic water bottles. One thing we casually leave off in our cars without a second thought is our beloved disposable drinking water. Leaving your Dasani or Nestle bottle inside your vehicle will cause them to warp, melt, and potentially release harmful chemicals into the liquid that's left in there. If that doesn't scare you, well, leaving a bottle in the car for a long period of time can possibly start a fire. And I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want that. Number 2. Speaking of starting fires, lighters are one of the last items you want to leave in your car on a hot summer day. Extreme high temperatures cause a risk of an explosion of inflammable liquid. I've seen several reports of incidents involving exploding lighters, so to my smokers, let's be safe than sorry and keep that lighter on you and not in your car. Number 3. Although they are made to resist the effects of the sun, even sunscreen has its own limits when it comes to exposure to high temperatures. When sunscreen is left in the vehicle, it loses effect with time, even if it's just sitting in somewhere like the glove compartment. Alright, I have to admit, I am so guilty of doing this, and it's so unhealthy. So please, avoid this at all costs, and if you accidentally leave it in your car, just throw it away and remind yourself that this stuff is expensive. And trust me, you won't do it again. Number 4. One of the things we probably have ready to go right now is our sunglasses, but you don't want to leave these inside your hot car. That's because heat can actually warp plastic frames, and if your frames are metal, they can get really hot and burn you. And nobody wants that, so make sure you take your glasses or your sunglasses out of your car. Number 5, another thing you don't want to leave in your car is your credit or debit cards or any cards you use at the store. That's because high heat can warp the plastic, making these types of cards unusable.
So the moral of the story is during summer, when there's a heat wave, when it's really, really hot in your car, plastics, electronics, water bottles, anything with flammable stuff, do not leave in your car. Let's be safe out there. This was your hot clip for today. It's that time. It's for Sports Insider, and we have 잘생긴 Jimmy in the house.
Hello. This
so
is
happy.
Jimmy in the
house.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, filling in for Andrew while he's away. So thanks for coming in so early. I know it's difficult getting up, right?
Well, kinda, but I was really looking forward to see you and the listeners.
So sweet, so
I'm
sweet.
thrilled.
All right, well, let's dive in to sports. What do you have for us today?
For sure. I mean, as we all know,
Yes.
the Paris Olympic is right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it will take place from July 26th to August 11th.
Yes.
So, can you, do you know, which team are you actually looking forward to see? Of course, Team Korea.
Team Korea, and then people always ask me, who do you root for? Do you root for Team Korea or Team USA? And then I hate that question because, my passport is blue, 독수리, American.
Well, I didn't want you to reveal that, but
people
yeah.
always ask me, but then in my heart of hearts, I'm rooting for Team Korea. So I always have I root for both teams.
But for sure, I mean, as a sports fan myself, and then I know that you are too.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, this time soccer and basketball eliminated.
Right, lots of.
What we can do is we can adjust to root for Team Korea on other sports.
Yeah.
But then in case of maybe football or basketball, we can cheer for the Team USA.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the city of Paris is actually gearing up to host athletes and fans around the globe. And then I've actually checked out on those other global media outlets that they're actually showcasing all this Eiffel Tower and other historical places Versailles and stuff. So the opening ceremony will be held along the River Seine.
That's right.
Yeah, and creating a breathtaking spectacle that will showcase the beauty of Paris and the unity of the Olympic spirit.
That's right. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a very different opening ceremony. And so I'm now very curious. How is a Korean national team preparing for the Olympics? And what are some of the sports, the events that we should keep an eye out for?
I mean, just to let you know, this year's slogan for Paris Olympic is one team and one dream. And the Korea team, which has actually participated in 18 competitions, starting with the 1948 London Olympics, and continues to actually strengthen with the goal of 5 gold medals and top 15 overall ranking in Paris this time.
Okay, that's the goal.
Yeah, and also I would just like to let you know that BTS member Jin participated on the Olympic torch relay.
We know.
And what I love about it was actually the French reporter at that time interviewed him in Korean.
Oh,
so yeah, that's one thing that I really loved about.
Yes. All right, so let's dive into some of the details about Team Korea. So, there are always kind of the 효자 종목, as they say.
Yeah.
Like archery and some of the ones that we kind of look forward to every time around, right?
Of course. Korean archers have actually dominated the archery scene of decades.
Yes.
So, and then also that, and then we'll be looking forward to see traditional sports taekwondo athletes and representing a Korean martial arts, and are also expected to shine. And also track speed skating.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
And also they're actually looking forward to achieve for the podium. And additionally, athletes will be competing in judo and fencing, which I really love.
Oh, fencing.
To see.
I love fencing.
Yeah, and gymnastics. Yeah.
Right. But not speed skating. That's winter.
Oh, yeah, except that.
Right here.
Yeah,
Not this time around.
Yeah, like fencing, judo, badminton, and table tennis, and wrestling, shooting.
There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Even golf.
Golf too.
Yeah.
And swimming as well. Yeah.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of young up-and-coming swimmers that are going to be competing as well.
Right.
So we do have to talk about the sports that Korea didn't make it in, like the preliminaries. So everybody knows soccer. The sport that shall not be mentioned.
You won't be able to see.
Yes.
I'm just gonna skip on it. And also, basketball team did not actually make it to the cut. But then, well, personally, that's why I have an excuse and a reason to actually cheer for the Team USA in case of basketball.
But let's face it, even if because like I personally like our good family friend is on the national men's basketball team.
For sure.
Yeah, so like, we always chat with him, but Team USA, I mean, they're the team to beat. Who's going to beat Team USA, right?
I don't think so.
Right. But yeah, so it's okay that the basketball team didn't make it, but the soccer team not making it, that's like,
You're the one who's telling me to not mentioning it, but then you keep mentioning Sunny.
Because it's like so painful.
Yeah.
It is painful.
I feel you.
Right.
But maybe next time.
태진님 태진 waiver has a waiver 이민호 78% 이상 닮은 집.
Yeah, I gotta slim down a little bit more.
Only 78%.
Yeah.
Only 78%. Come on, Jimmy, we need you at like 85.
I'll work on it.
85%는 돼야죠.
맞아요.
Today I got a comment like on my hair. Who was it? 고수 Waver said my hair looked like Matilda from like Leon. Is that a diss or a compliment? I don't know.
That's definitely a compliment.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but yeah. Anyhow, so on to other competitions. What else should we know about the Paris Olympics?
Yeah, as we all know, these Olympics are the time for cultural exchanges and international friendships. So the athletes' village in Paris will be a melting pot of cultures, and where athletes from different countries will interact. So I'm definitely looking forward to see like all those behind the scenes. And these days, like on a podcast, people talk about like what they have done on the Olympics and then off the Olympics. So I'm definitely looking forward to hear all those kind of stories.
Indeed. So there is a lot to look forward to. And any final thoughts? What are you looking forward to? What do you want our listeners to think about as we look forward to the Olympic Games? And by the way, we also we can squeeze in also the Paralympic Games because that follows the Olympics every single time, right?
Sure. That's kind of a must not to miss on. So it will be starting on August 28th and ending on September 8th. So the Paralympic will showcase the incredible talents and determination of athletes with disabilities.
That's right.
Yeah. So Korea will also be represented in the Paralympics as well. So like wheelchair basketball. So for those of you who's missing out on basketball, you can actually try to check out on this Paralympics.
Yes. So final thoughts. What should we be leaving this segment with? Because it is sports. Yes, we're very interested to see how many medals. That's important. But what's most important, do you think, about sports?
Well, it's all about, becoming just a one. And then we just have to see, and celebrating the Olympics itself. And then we get to showcase and see and to feel the warmth and the humanity. So I think that's really, really important.
That's true. And I certainly hope whether you are from Korea, the United States, and we have listeners from all over the world, actually. So we can support all the athletes. Because think about most of these athletes, they have sacrificed not just 1 or 2 years, but most of their entire lives since they were really little in terms of sacrificing their time, their money, and sometimes their childhoods to get to this elite level, right?
Yeah.
For that, sometimes when you do a vault, what is it like 2-3 seconds for that one moment, right? To compete at this level. So let's be supportive of all the athletes.
Sure, whether you win a medal or not. I mean, just be careful with your injuries and then make sure to feel happy. And then even for us, let's just cheer whoever who, get involved in this Olympics itself.
Yes, indeed. So thank you so much for coming in and filling in for Andrew. And we're going to check in with you next week, right?
For sure.
Yes. And Taejin says almost 80%.
Next week, maybe 81%.
Okay.
Let's look forward to it.
We're working on it.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Jimmy.
Thank you for having me. I'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Everybody, this was Jimmy, our sports insider. Here is our final song for hour number 1, The Last of the Real Ones by Fall Out Boy. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
Found you, and then I found you. You are the sun, and I am just the planets spinning around you, spinning around you. You are too good to be true. Gold plated, but what's inside you
befm 부산영어방송.
다운이 실내 건조 세탁세제. 습한 실내 건조 시 빽빽히 널린 빨래는 냄새를 만들죠. 다운이 실내 건조 세탁세제. 보이지 않는 얼룩과 냄새를 싹. 세탁세제도 역시 다운이.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재, 미래가 공존하는 항구도시 부산. 이곳 부산은 계절을 물들이는 다양한 축제로 늘 풍성합니다. 봄의 시작을 알리는 봄꽃 축제부터 부산의 여름을 만끽하는 바다축제, 전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제와 새로운 시작의 해맞이 축제까지. 부산의 축제는 우리의 열정을 가득 담고 있습니다. 바쁜 일상은 잠시 뒤로하고 특별한 시간을 선물 받는 바로 이곳 부산에서 우리의 삶은 축제가 됩니다. 축제로 하나 되는 부산, 여러분은 어떤 축제를 기다리시나요? 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 bfm 부산영어방송이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀
bfm 부산영어방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It is now 8 o'clock, and this is news highlights. Prosecutor resigns. Prosecutor resigns over First Lady's luxury bag questioning. A prosecutor in charge of investigating the Deer Bag allegations involving the First Lady has resigned in protest to the Supreme Prosecution probing the questioning of Kim Gun-hee. The Supreme Prosecution has launched a probe into the investigators for questioning Kim at a government building without reporting it to the Prosecutor General. Prosecutor General Lee Won-suk reprimanded the chief of the Seoul Central Prosecutor's Office for this failure to report the questioning before the questioning itself. Kakao founder arrested over alleged stock manipulation. Seoul Southern District Court issued an arrest warrant for Kakao CEO Kim Bum-soo, who faces charges of stock price manipulation related to the firm's takeover of SM Entertainment last year, citing risks of him fleeing and destroying evidence. The case centers on suspicions that the mobile platform to entertainment conglomerate and its executives manipulated SM stock prices during a bidding war it won in February last year against HYBE over the takeover of SM. The prosecution may detain him for up to 20 days, during which time they will investigate whether he was directly involved in the stock manipulation. Parliamentary committee passes pro-labor yellow envelope bill. A parliamentary committee unilaterally passed the pro-labor bill that seeks to limit companies from making claims for damages from legitimate labor union disputes. Opposition lawmakers passed the revision to the Trade Union and Labor Relations Adjustment Act, nicknamed the Yellow Envelope Bill, yesterday, while the ruling People Power Party left the meeting in protest. The revisions strengthen the main contractor's responsibilities over their subcontractors and limit a corporation's damages claims against laborers on strike. Last year, President Yoon Suk-yeol vetoed the bill passed by the National Assembly. High school teacher referred to prosecution for selling CSAT questions. Police have referred a high school teacher to the prosecution for making college entrance exam questions and selling them to a private academy for 250 million won. The teacher is also accused of taking part in a review panel for one of the state-administered mock tests last year, using the information gained from there to make 11 questions and selling them to 2 private institutions. The case was discovered by the National Office of Investigation in its probe of the cartel ties between public and private education sectors. Mourners pour in at iconic singer-composer Kim Min-gi's funeral. Artists, colleagues, and friends poured in to mourn the death of artist Kim Min-gi, who died Sunday after battling stomach cancer at the age of 73. Kim operated the landmark Hakjeon Theater, fostering countless talented artists. He's also known for his 1970s hit songs Morning Dew and Evergreen Tree that defied the authoritarian regimes of the time. Kim is survived by his spouse and 2 sons. His funeral is held at Seoul National University Hospital. And these are news headlines. Why does it feel like a Friday? It's only Tuesday.
I know. Like my body is saying
it's
at
Friday.
least Thursday.
But it's only Tuesday.
The calendar is wrong.
It's time for issue Wagle. Haley's back in the studio with us. It's that time. Yes. All right. So it is summer vacation season. And so you have some stats on just how many people are going on vacation and when.
AKA, if your company will let you, avoid these times. So I have definitely seen kind of a trend away from 7말 8초, right? Late July to early August.
Yes.
And people are taking vacations away from it, but it is still peak vacation season. So this is a survey according to the Land Infrastructure and Transport Ministry. It showed that, get this, 107 million people.
Yes.
That is over 1억 명 across the country will be on the move between July 25th and August 11th. Huge focus on the week of July 27th to August 2nd.
How are 107 million?
Yeah.
I thought we only have 51 million.
Wait, sorry. Sorry, wait. I'm going to check the figure. 1.7 million, excuse me.
Is it 10.7?
That was, sorry. I'm going to check the figures. I don't have my phone on me. Apologies. Okay. There was a typo.
Okay.
I was typing in the car. Sorry. I'll check that. Excuse me. Anyways, let's just say huge number.
A lot of people.
On that,
yes.
Just a week.
Yes.
So about half the country is planning on going on vacation, of those surveyed at least. But the thing is, it is definitely more domestic, about 75% domestic, and a quarter people they can't afford to go international. But on average, you're looking to spend just a little under 100만 원. They're looking to spend about 975,000 won on average.
Sure.
Although, of course, that figure will have to go up if you're going international, but overall, trying to keep prices down. So because of the heavy travel volume, the ministry has designated that period, July 25th through August 11th, as special transportation response period.
Sure.
Because most of the people saying they will drive. So there will be an average of 5.3 million cars on the road every day during this time.
Right.
But honestly, I mean, the thing is, people are going on vacation during that 7말 8초 period. But I do want to throw it out to our waivers. Is it because you really want to?
No. I'm sorry.
Sure.
튀어나왔어요. 죄송합니다.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not true.
I know.
Who wants to go at the end of July, beginning of August? You're forced to.
I mean, I get that this is kind of like the worst time in a year because so you want to take vacation, you want to take time off of work, but there's a difference between not going into work versus actually going somewhere
저는
on
가을에 가고
vacation.
싶어요.
So a reason, I think you might be right, because they have no choice.
Yes.
So of the people surveyed, a third of the people said that they had no choice because that's when their spouses, a spouse, partner, friends, their travel buddies are going on vacation. So they're going.
Yes.
Others, their kids. This is when the kids' academies go on vacation.
Oh, gosh.
And then that's like a whole thing because so my nephew is actually coming to Busan during this period because he has working parents. And they're not. They're like, we're saving our precious vacation time for when it is okay to travel. So what's my sister going to do? Send her kid down to me. So, yeah. So this is like every vacation thing during summer and winter. I have like a working mom trial period that I do not renew at the end of the free trial period. And I send the child back. But that'll be my vacation. But I think some form of childcare arrangement will be happening during this time because if parents are working and children are out of the academies.
Yes.
Well, someone's got to take care of them.
Yes.
I guess send them all to me. So, and of course, finally, big reason, there are workplaces pushing them to. That's a big reason that people are going on vacation during this time.
I always wondered about this, though, because, like, in the States, like, you take your vacation time, like, staggered like, when you want to.
Right.
But it's like, here it's like, it
depends. So a lot of, like, the smaller, mid-sized, smaller companies, they kind of do close their doors during that 1 week.
Right.
So I suppose that's when everybody
has to take
Right. But yeah, so
for bigger companies,
have
though,
to take a vacation seems like a weird sentence.
Right.
You must not work during this time. Anyways.
Next, there was this mystery of cases of bottled water disappearing after they had been delivered. And I don't know. I thought like we here in Korea, like we had it good.
Right?
Like, who takes bottled water?
Who takes things in general?
I thought we were like living
I know.
in a civilized society.
Exactly. So this is a JTBC report. Yes. A tenant at a multi-household building here in Busan ordered a case of bottled water. They even got the confirmation message, as they usually do, from the delivery person.
Sure.
And then when they went outside to get it, nothing. So they inquired with the e-commerce company from which they ordered. And then they were able to get another case delivered. But then they also informed their landlord because, hey, there might be someone stealing things in the building.
Sure.
The landlord checks CCTV footage. So the quote-unquote water thief, the delivery guy.
What?
Yeah, so you can see the CCTV footage, well, like 2 cases. He delivers it, takes a picture, and then just takes it back.
He's taking it back?
And that's so nonchalant. Like why?
Let's be honest. He does it so casually. Like, you wonder, is that the first time? You just wonder. I'm just saying.
Well, here's the thing. The landlord sent in this footage to the news network because they also read on a local online community in the neighborhood that a similar case is happening, that they lost their delivery of bottled water. Why? I mean, just why? But here's the thing, though. In Korea, if there are losses during a delivery process, the delivery person is liable to pay for it. So why would you do that to yourself is my question.
That is odd.
I'm telling you, it's a mystery.
On the other hand, real story, real quick. I know we're running out of time. But my delivery guy, he's so sweet. I sent it to the wrong address, a former address by accident. I forgot to change the address. He called me. He goes, "Wait, aren't you the person that moved?"
Oh my goodness!
The other? And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What should I do?" And he's like, "Don't worry. I see your new address. Do you want me to drop it by?" I was like, "Could you? Is that okay?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll swing by. Don't worry."
That's wonderful.
I was just like,
that's so nice.
Yeah, so there are plenty of nice delivery
let's
people.
not make this particular case a
Yes.
reflection of the entire occupation.
All right. And okay, this story goes in line with our topic. A local government tried to hold a debut celebration event for new jeans without them knowing?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
What about a birthday party without the person knowing? So this is Donggu District in Gwangju. So they have this public shared K-pop cafe. It's a part of their tourism initiative and to revitalize the commercial district.
Okay.
So there's a fan culture in Korea for idols and celebrities. Fans throw birthday parties at birthday cafes. The idols are not explicitly invited. They can come if you want to, but it's like our celebration. So fans out of using their own money, they rent out a cafe. They usually make the sleeves, the cup holders, sleeves with the photos of the stars.
Yes.
They decorate the cafe. They hand out photo cards and other merchandise. So the district office is renting out the space, and somebody inquired to do a New Jeans debut anniversary. So it's in conjunction with the district office. And even the tourism organization, they purchased the group's new albums and other souvenir to hand out to the fans. But Adore, the agency, contacted the district office the day before the event and asked them to basically cancel because intellectual property.
Oh, that's
copyright.
true.
Some of the merchandise the office had created or that was going to be on display and given out, they were created without permission from the agency. So Adore asked the district office to not infringe upon the artist's IP for their tourism promotions.
Sure.
So the district office said that they were not aware of this because the fans had created it, but that they discarded all of the problematic merchandise, was not considering the IP issue, that they were just renting out the space, but it's been taken care of.
I see. Hence, yes.
Yeah.
But it is intellectual property. We
absolutely.
need to respect that. All right. Lastly, some people may actually want this next item as a birthday gift, and the big maybe. Let's find out about it.
So we're going to talk about Fubao.
Oh,
the
Fubao.
giant panda. I know you love Fubao.
Yes.
We all do. But would you be willing to buy yourself or your children a giant Fubao stuffed animal for
How much?
590,000 won, 59만 원.
Oh,
so
hard
no. Just shy of 60만 원. So Everland it's imported and selling official Fubao merchandise, stuffed animals. So this was created by China's Panda Factory, and it is an exact likeness of Fubao when she was 6 months. So it's about
do we have a
it's like
visual?
it's like the size of like half of an adult's upper body.
Okay.
The stuffed animal weighs 3.3 kilograms. And it's made in an exact model, and that's Gangbao. That's the zookeeper. That's the stuffed animal. That's not
that's
real.
A stuffed animal?
Exactly. That looks exactly like Fubao, right?
Wow.
Modeled after the shape of her
you
head.
can tell the only
hair pattern,
the seams or something. You can tell it's fake
the
only by
seams, right? But then
the claws
and the
claws,
color
right.
of the fur, which, by the way, so Fubao is not a panda that sits still. So her fur has been dubbed like 누룽지, that's the crispy rice, because she rolls around in the dirt so much. So they do have the yellowish tinge added to it. Apparently, the Panda Factory even got consultations from the zookeeper Gangbao to really model it. So it's split. I mean, the stuffed animal, obviously adorable. The panda's adorable, but are you going to pay, let's face it, that's 600,000 won, 590,000 won. So it was handmade, by the way. And plus, there's like the tariffs, and the quality's different. However, other people are saying, well, once again, that's 60만 원, 59만 원. So, right. So people have bought it. There are reviews online. So, and then they say it does feel very high quality. I mean, people have spent more money on other things.
I mean, to each his own.
Exactly.
Hard
Right.
pass for me. But
Right.
Yeah. It's a cute,
It was really cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. Well, thank you for going over all the hot issues. And we'll check in with you. Oh, it's Friday.
Wednesday, hump day.
We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Bye.
Well, let's get to your traffic and weather. It is now 16 past the hour. Here's your traffic update. There's an accident on Banyeongno going into the city right past the Busan Environment Corporation. It's slow on Yeonsuro from Shili three-way intersection to Mangmi-goge as well. And there's congestion on Chungjangdaero from pier number 5 to pier number 3. As for the weather, it's currently 29 degrees under partially cloudy skies, but the real field temperature, it already feels like 30 degrees. It will be another hot one today with a daytime high going up to 32 degrees. And Busan is still under a special heat wave advisory. And the real field temperature is going to be much higher as the humidity is lingering around 80 degrees today. There is heavy rain coming down in parts of the capital area, Gangwon and Chungcheong. But once the rain stops, there's going to be a heat wave in those areas as well. And this was your traffic and weather. And this is Who by Jibin.
Never met, but she's always on my mind. Wanna give her the world and so much more. Who is my heart waiting for? If every day I think about her, yeah, every day of my life, then tell me why I haven't found her. Why? There's so many people to see, places to go. We still haven't found her love. We never met, but she's all I see at night. Never met, but she's always on my mind. Wanna give her the world and so much more. Who is my heart waiting for? I'll take her places they ain't found, yeah. I'll put it all on the line. I'll be there so much she can count on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so many people to see, places to go. We still haven't found her love. We never met, but she's all I see at night. Never met, but she's always on my mind. Wanna give her the world and so much more. Who is my heart waiting for? Is she someone that I see every day? Is she somewhere 1,000 miles away? Wanna give her the world and so much more. Who is my heart waiting for? 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 Never met, but she's all I see at night. Never met, but she's always on my mind. Wanna give her the world and so much more. Who is my heart waiting for? Is she someone that I see every day? Is she somewhere 1,000 miles away? Wanna give her the world and so much more. Who is my heart waiting for?
Welcome back. It's now 8:20 here on a Tuesday morning. And so we've been talking about birthdays. So birthdays, yes, let's talk about memorable birthdays. According to Tommy, his most memorable birthday was his 20th birthday with, I think it's his ex-girlfriend. I'm just going to say, I don't think his wife listens. 20th birthday with his first love. Cannot say more because my room controller is going to kill you. You know what? If your wife listens, seriously, at this point, you would not be here with us on Earth. So we'll just leave it there at this. We'll just leave it there. And then Drift Monkey, is this true? I've never had a birthday party. Are you serious? Well, let us know when your birthday is, like ahead of time. And he says, and the only gift I've ever received from anyone but my immediate family was a bottle of vodka after my birthday? Really? Okay, well, I don't know if that's true or if we're just exaggerating, but let us know when your birthday is ahead of time. We'll celebrate with you. Like online, we'll have a birthday party for you. For real. I mean, if that's true, you need to have a birthday party. Because, I mean, you know, and then lots of people commenting on like they've never had a birthday week until they met their wife. Are you serious? I mean, for our family, I mean, it's a birthday month. Like, just saying, like, because my birthday already passed, it's okay. Like, my birthday's in April. Like, it begins the beginning April 1st and it goes until the end of April. It's a month. What do you mean birthday week? 생일 주가 아니라 생일 한 달 동안 계속 내내 생색내고 다 봤는데요, 저는요. 너무 심하죠. 네, 가족들이 그래서 저 좀 힘들어합니다. Anyhow, I'll be back with our special interview. Wavers, you probably have seen that photo of Donald Trump after that attempted assassination with his fist in the air with that U.S. flag billowing behind him. And I when I saw that photo, I was like, the timing of that photo with that flag, with the wind blowing just at the right time, at that angle, that photograph, right? And then that iconic Times Square kiss after, you know, the end of World War II. The list goes on and on. These iconic photos. Photojournalism is definitely a critical part of the news, capturing era-defining moments that go down in history books for ages to come. But have you ever wondered who's behind the camera and what does it take to capture that shot, the money shot? So today on our program, we have Kang Hyung-won, photojournalist, columnist, and two-time Pulitzer Prize winner. He was a member of the team that won the Pulitzer in Spot News in 1993 for the LA Rights coverage and also the Pulitzer Prize in feature photography in 1999 for the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal coverage. Let's say hi to him. Hi, welcome to our program.
Good morning.
Yes. So first of all, welcome to the program. And, you know, I want to ask you about that photograph of former President Donald Trump right after the shooting. Have you seen this photo? I'm sure you have. And what would you say about this particular photo from, you know, an expert from your perspective?
It was just a job well done by a friend of mine, Doug Mills.
Yes.
And Evan Vucci, who now works for AP. Those two guys were on duty that day, but instinctively they were able to capture what was happening on the stage as it was happening in real time. And that's just what we do as photojournalists. We don't document. We document everything that happens in front of us without setting anything up.
Right. And when I saw that photo, and we have it on our YouTube channel right now, I have to say, I mean, just at that time, aside from the aesthetics of, you know, the fist pump in the air, but the flag, I thought, was so iconic with the wind blowing the flag at the right angle. I mean, had it not been for the flag, of course it would have still been important, but with the flag in the background, that was an important part of that photo, don't you think?
That's, of course, organized by the Trump campaign people.
Yes.
What they do is they bring in two large cranes and they hang oversized U.S. stars and stripes from the boom from a crane, and they do that over the rally site to create additional visuals for the president. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, in your opinion, what is the power of photojournalism? I mean, in terms of shaping world events.
Well, photojournalism is an art of visual storytelling. So we artfully deliver the story in pictures, and it has to give readers an immediate information and knowledge and impressions that lasts with them almost, sometimes forever about what happens in front of them.
Yes, yes. And so in terms of the storytelling, why do you think it's important to have a visual kind of connection to the story? Because obviously storytelling, we can read, we can listen to the news through radio. Those are different media. But in terms of visually taking it in, why do you think it's important for people to visually take in stories?
Well, as humans, we communicate in pictures, meaning whenever we hear a story or read a story or imagine a story, we imagine all of that in graphic details. So earliest communication for human history is rock carvings, the petroglyphs, where people used to document what they saw on a piece of rock surface and documented the animals and the people and the hunting and all of that. Well, since the 20th century, when the photography became more accessible, we've been documenting our history in pictures. And pictures basically are the universal communication language that everybody understands what's going on when they see a picture.
Yes, indeed. And so let's talk about your work. If you can tell us what goes on as you're behind the camera, you have captured some of the most kind of defining historic moments in recent modern history. So can you walk us through some of your personal work?
Sure. So I covered and documented the 1987 democracy movements in Korea. Basically, it ended the military dictatorship in Korea forever, ever since, and we've had democracy, which explains the prosperity and the freedom that the modern generation enjoys since 1987. I documented that. And in 1992, 90 years after Korean Americans first landed in the U.S., Korean Americans were confronted with the LA riots of April 29, 1992. I documented Koreatown back then, which was vacated by LAPD. They just left the area, left Koreatown on its own. I went in, documented how Korean men protected property and lives with their own guns. And, it really was such a historical moment for America because they never had a minority population who brought out the arms to protect themselves in the absence of government not providing them protection. And then, of course, I covered the 9/11 attacks to Washington, when Pentagon was attacked by an airliner that crashed into it, which was hijacked by terrorists. I covered that. And that, of course, changed America because it was the first war that came to America in modern age when we thought we were safe. And it changed America forever since the September 11 of 2001.
Ah, yes, indeed, indeed. And when you are capturing these visuals, these photos, what is going on in your mind as you're actually behind the camera trying to capture these moments? Obviously, you're very busy behind the camera, but how does your mind work? Because it's so difficult to try to understand the inner workings as you're trying to capture these moments. Are you just clicking away? Are you thinking about it? Or is it kind of you're just trying to take as many photos as possible? How does the process work?
Well, as photojournalists, we're not taking pictures of what has already happened.
Right.
We have to be ready for what's going to happen next. Meaning we're always anticipating what next moment will be and trying to capture a moment that essentially documents the issue that's in front of us, not necessarily the event itself. Because when you document an issue in front of you, it has basically longer shelf life as a historical document for eternity. And that's what we're always thinking about. What is the issue here? Is the issue greater than the event itself? That's what we're always questioning.
So the last photo that we actually just put up a little while ago was you at the 2024 Republican National Committee. Real quick, what was the atmosphere like? Can you tell us? Was it electric as Donald Trump was there in the aftermath of that assassination attempt?
Well, Donald Trump made his first public appearance within 2 days of being shot at.
Yes.
So my responsibility was to document this basically American former president who just survived an attempted assassination, and how he looks, how he carries himself in public. So I documented that with him walking over America sign, written words on a side of a wall with a bandage over his ear, showing an wounded America in one picture. And that's what I try to do. Yeah.
I see. So what photo would you say really definitively defines, if you had to just choose one or two? Okay, I'll give you two. Maybe even just one. Really defines your career thus far.
Well, of all of American history,
yes,
Asian men until 1992 were never portrayed as masculine or tough.
Yes,
in the media, in Hollywood movies, we never looked good in Hollywood movies until 1992, until I documented capable Korean men defending for themselves in Koreatown during the LA riots, and that iconic picture of Asian men looking masculine and looking like in control of destiny. It really changed American media, and it destroyed the stereotype that existed before that point. And if you notice, in modern years, in the last 30 years, there's been, since the LA riots, there's been movies with Asian male characters as the lead character in many of the movies now.
True.
And on screen, Asian men are looking a lot more masculine and sometimes even sexy, over other races. So that's the power of photojournalism. It changes the perception and existing stereotype that people have about things.
That's so true, though. I mean, I was there during the LA riots, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I do remember. So I hear and I understand that you have entered a new chapter in your life now after a very, very successful career, working with the major U.S. outlets for over 3 decades. I hear that you've settled now in South Korea. So what are your plans for the near future? What are your goals?
So for the last 4 years, I have been documenting Korean history and culture for the English language media and for the rest of the world, because there's just not enough information, academic information about Korean history and culture for non-Korean speakers. And in fact, through my journalistic findings, I am basically showing the most ancient civilization in East Asia are the civilization that our ancestors created and that we are still carrying on.
Yes.
Well, so I'm documenting this, East Asia's most ancient culture and history for future generations' sake, for sake of Korean and future Koreans' identity's sake.
Well, I want to thank you so much, not just for all the photojournalism, all the photos that you're going to leave behind for future generations, but the work that you're planning to do in the near future as well. Thanks for joining us today. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. Everybody, wavers out there, this was Mr. Kang Hyung-won, and I hope you have the opportunity to check out his amazing array of work. And this was our special interview today. We're going to take a short break. This is Extreme Ways by Moby.
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
All right, waivers, it is time for The Health. And we don't really have a Bonnie, but while she's away, we have Adrienne in the studio. So let's say hi to her. Welcome to our program.
Hi, Wavers. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for having me.
yes. So you told me off air that you do listen to our program, right?
I do. Usually I'm doing housework at this time or walking my dog with my, headphones in listening. And now I'm here. So it's
Yay!
I really am a big fan.
Yeah, so she's not just saying it just because she's on air. She really did say it off air. So why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. So my name is Adrienne. I am a health and wellness blogger. I've been living here in Busan for the past 5 years.
Oh, nice. So first, tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Sure.
Let's dive in.
Okay, let me ask you a question first. Have you ever woken up and you have just felt kind of off, but not necessarily a cold or a sore throat, more so fatigue, maybe puffy, bloated?
All the time.
I know, it's kind of a dumb question. I mean,
No.
who doesn't?
Like,
right?
I wouldn't say like every day, but definitely I have.
Right.
Yes.
Specifically, maybe after a trip. Right? Or a long weekend with friends or something like that.
Yes.
Or, kind of getting out of your routine for a little bit. So there's actually a chance that your body was dealing with inflammation when that happens. A high chance, if you don't necessarily feel like a cold or something coming on, but you just feel off, you could be fighting off some inflammation.
Okay.
So a big reason that I wanted to cover this topic today is I know a lot of people out there are getting ready for their summer vacation, which is definitely a time when you are out of your regular routine.
Right.
And I know for me, when I came to Korea, my body really felt all the inflammation because it was a huge adjustment, complete change of diet, lifestyle, work, all the
everything.
Everything. So today I just want to share some facts about inflammation within the body and then also share to our waivers some ways that you can implement small, simple lifestyle changes that can help you kind of get back to a regular balance if you do happen to be traveling, coming up soon, or maybe you just feel off lately.
This is really, I think, good because I remember when I first came to Korea, like I never had allergy or allergic symptoms, but when I came to Korea, I felt like, why am I sneezing? I had a runny nose, and then it was to the point where I went to an ENT, ear, nose, throat doctor, and I got like an allergy workup done because I was like, I've never had these symptoms where I was like sneezing and I had a runny nose, and I was like, doctor, what's wrong with me? And then he was just like, he did like this allergy patch test on my back, like 100 allergens or whatever, like a prick test to find out what I was allergic to because I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. But I had never, I was perfectly healthy. And it was just like, I guess like acclimating to like a new environment. It was really difficult. But I definitely see what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of foreigners that come over here deal with that.
Yes.
And they think, I think they look at a lot of Koreans and how they have their standard diet.
Right.
And how they look in very great shape and they think, I can just eat the same exact way off the bat. But, a lot of Westerners were not accustomed to the same environment diet as people are that have been here their whole lives. So definitely.
I get it. Everybody thinks like, but you're ethnically Korean. Yeah, but I wasn't raised here. I lived in California my entire life. So I'm used to, a Western diet, Western way of life, the dry California heat. And then coming here, it's like humid. The humidity, it's just like, it's so different, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into it.
So to give you all a very quick little background, I grew up in a very fairly healthy household. I had the mother who was always checking the ingredients on the back of, the boxes in the grocery stores, wasn't fed a ton of snacks my whole life. But as soon as I graduated and went off to college, I feel like that's where I really kind of lost control in a way. I just wasn't, having a regular sleep cycle, just all the college things that most college students end up doing. So once I started really feeling the effects on my body, that's when I decided to make a change.
Sure.
And just to let everyone know, if you are dealing with something like this, I really encourage you to, see a doctor and talk to them more about that, obviously.
Sure.
So to give you a brief synopsis of inflammation, according to clevelandclinic.org, it is your body's response to an illness, injury, or something that doesn't belong in your body. It is a part of our immune system. When an unwanted bacteria or injury comes into our body, the inflammatory cells in our body have a job to attack these viruses and heal damaged tissue in our body.
Yes.
So there's two kinds of inflammation. First, we have acute. So think either a cut on your skin or maybe you sprain your ankle and it becomes very swollen, sore throat, flu. And then we also have chronic, which is the slow and long-term inflammation that can last for, months to years, which is what we're going to be kind of talking about today.
Okay.
So there's several ways inflammation can affect our body. Some of those include skin, and we see those, with rashes, allergies, dermatitis, acne. I think acne is a huge thing people deal with at least once in their life.
Okay.
Digestive system, including pain, swelling, fatigue. Pain in our joints and bones, not being able to move, stretch properly, as well as in the mental, including depression, anxiety, and different mood disorders.
Sure, yes.
So that brings me to discussing what can actually cause these symptoms. There's an array of things. It could be an infection. It can be in something in your genes,
right?
An environmental factor. But today I want to share tips on how we can reduce inflammation that's caused by lifestyle factors.
What we're doing to ourselves?
Right. Things that we can technically control.
Okay.
It just takes a little extra thinking.
Well, we'd like that. Something we can control.
Right.
Okay.
And so the first thing is to create small habits to move your body more. And I want to recommend 2 different ways to our waivers based off of my experience. The first is yoga. Have you ever tried yoga?
I pause because Bonnie's been in here, and then it was Mindy's been in here.
So I actually remember you told Mindy one time that when you were in LA, you saw the yogis walk out of the studio.
Yeah.
I felt the same exact way the first time I ever saw yogis.
It's so
intimidating
because they're so
Yeah, and I'm so glad I just finally went to a yoga studio one day. I sat in the back. Didn't talk to anyone, was just in my own bubble. And ever since then, I've frequently gone to yoga. And that's why I recommend it to everybody. The main reason is because yoga is for people of all abilities.
Okay.
There's so many different types of yoga, first of all. A lot of it involves breath work, stretching. And what I really like is that there's a lot of ways that you can kind of adjust how you do yoga based on your body abilities. And it is specifically really recommended for people that work desk jobs who are not getting up, moving, stretching throughout the day. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, yoga can improve balance, core strength, flexibility, and blood flow, all which, can impact our inflammation.
Sure.
Right, and it's also just one of those exercises that leaves our body feeling very energized and not one of them that, makes you feel so drained after.
Okay.
A hardcore workout or something like that. Another recommendation I have for moving your body is just more steps. I know that's such an obvious one.
Yes. That's something that we can do. It's really doable.
It is. It's free.
Yes. You don't need gear.
You don't need gear. Any of the listeners out there that have a pet, your dog probably loves to go outside and walk.
True.
I know I have a dog, and that's one of the big things that's gotten me outside. She actually recently had a small surgery, and she wasn't allowed to walk out for a little bit, and I was like, oh my goodness, now I understand why people have trouble going out, because it's not as easy to get out there and walk if you don't have a dog.
I see.
But that's a huge thing. And according to National Institute of Health, just 30 minutes of walking per day can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and it can also help relieve symptoms of depression. There's also tons of walking challenges online, 30 days walking, something like that.
Right. That's true.
So next.
Okay, next.
So small habits to improve diet and gut health. Do you think you overall have a good diet? Or?
Yes, recently much more so. I've been cutting out the super ultra processed foods. Definitely, I haven't had ramyeon in over a year.
Really?
Over a year.
Really?
I can attest, literally over a year. I think in the past year, burger, I can count on one hand. I've had a burger. I've
never been a burger lover, honestly.
Right. I've had a burger maybe twice in the past year. So I've been cutting down on the fast food. Chicken is a hard one.
It is.
Because we live in Korea.
But it's all about balance. It's all about balance. You really do have to enjoy.
Right. So I've been cutting down on the ultra hot, really processed bad food, cutting down.
Good.
Yes. Yeah.
So right, as you've been doing, I would recommend just our listeners enjoy more whole foods.
Yes.
The Global Burden of Disease Study in 2017 actually estimated that poor diet is responsible for 11 million deaths globally each year.
Ooh.
Many of which are due to chronic diseases linked to inflammation. So diet
inflammation.
is huge. I recommend everyone, you can rotate your fruits and vegetables each time you visit the grocery store. It makes it a lot more fun.
Yes.
And also, I will always pick the seasonal fruits. They're packed with tons of vitamins because, they're grown in the season. So it's the best option that you can get at the store.
Watermelon. So yummy.
I found a guy that sells watermelon for so cheap near my house, and it's made this summer so much more enjoyable.
Yum.
Next is fiber.
So important.
So important. I only realized this a couple years ago, actually, how important fiber is.
It keeps us regular, especially for women.
Definitely.
Yes.
So a recent article for Orlando Health actually wrote, it was written by registered dietitian Lauren Popik. It explains that fiber plays a crucial role in reducing inflammation and promoting our overall health, including bowel function. It has a prebiotic effect, weight management, and it lowers our cholesterol levels. So while reading this article, I found that latest research at the National Center of Biotechnology Information, it's revealed that inflammation may mediate the relationship between dietary fiber intake and depression. So it is all connected. It's like this domino effect. So a high fiber diet can definitely lower inflammation within our body.
Okay.
Right, and we can just make very easy swaps for this if you're wanting to get more fiber in your diet. So maybe picking oatmeal instead of cereal.
Oh, yes.
Very simple. You can add veggies like carrots, beets, peas, squash, onions, garlic, bananas, ground flaxseed, all the good stuff. So very easy to add that into your diet. Final one I want to talk about as far as diet goes is simple protein swaps. This really got me when I came to Korea. I thought I can eat all the barbecue and all the stews that I want and I'll be fine. But the spices and all the sauces involved and the oils, they just didn't work well with my body.
I see, yes.
So it's something I had to be really intentional about.
Yes.
According to Nancy Mazarin, who's a dietitian from New York, the most anti-inflammatory protein sources are lean proteins like fish.
Yes.
We have omega-3 fatty acids in there, legumes and vegetables.
Oh.
Very simple. Legumes are also really cheap, which is a really great thing.
Yes.
I've actually been adding like chickpeas to my rice cooker.
I love chickpeas.
Have you ever added them into the rice cooker?
Not into the rice cooker, but I just love making, I even put chickpeas into my air fryer.
I've done that. With some garlic.
Yeah. Like just some kind of flavorful whatever that I haven't, like herbs.
So good.
So good, yeah.
I'm glad
chickpeas are good.
I'm glad you're on the chickpea train.
Yes.
I want to share with you a really interesting fact here about fish consumption.
Okay.
A study analyzed the heart health of 51,000 people and found that those who ate fish at least 2 times per week had a 16% lower rate of experiencing a major cardiovascular event such as a heart attack.
Important.
Very important. Very interesting that something like just eating more fish can help in that way. And that study was performed by Population and Health Research Institute of McMaster University and Hamilton Health Services.
You know what? I think we're going to
wrap it up here?
Wrap it up for today.
Okay.
But we can definitely do a part 2, or we can continue our discussion next week. Because you're going to be here next week, right? Yes. We look forward to it, Adrian. And by the way, we have many comments as soon as you walked in. Oh, Leslie says she follows your YouTube channel.
Hi, Leslie.
So, and many positive comments saying that they're welcoming you to our family.
Thank you, guys.
Our waivers are so kind.
They really are. I'm going to interact. I'll interact more in the chat as I'm listening more.
All right. Well, thank you. And we look forward to next week as well.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, this was Adrian for The Health. And it's time to say goodbye already. So it's going to be another hot one. I know the sun is going to be peeking in and out, going in and out, but it's going to be really hot and humid once again. Stay hydrated. And remember, you do need sunscreen. Here is Live High by Jason Mraz. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
See her eyes and stare back at them. See the girl as her own new world. Though home is on the surface, she is still a universe. Glory God, oh God is peeking through the blinds. Are we all here standing naked, taking guesses at the actual date and time? Oh my, justifying reasons why is an absolutely insane resolution to live by. Live high, live mighty, live righteously. Taking it easy, live high, live mighty, live righteously. I try to picture the man, to always have an open hand, see him as a given tree, and see him as matter of fact, he's not a beast. No, not the devil either, always a good deed doer, where it's laughter that we're making after all. The call of the wild is still in order nationwide. In the order of the primates, all our politics are too late. Oh my, the congregation in my mind is an assembly selling gratitude and practicing the loving of you. Live high, live mighty, live righteously. Taking it easy, live high, live mighty, live righteously. And oh, let's take it easy and celebrate the malleable reality, because nothing is ever as it seems, or this life is but a dream.